Okay, hola all. Welcome back to Soul Mechanics. Lighting in here kind of sucks. So I had intended to make the crazy video. I'm not ready to do that yet. I'm sorry, guys. I want to put a lot of work into that. I want to make it perfect. So that one's going to take a little while, as I said. I've got to kind of learn the workings of this new Liara Mark V, this most beautiful, excellent phone, before I can get into that fully. And then there is the video for the Magics course that I wanted to make for a few people, continuing the Magical Technology course, and I have that mapped out, but I've got to put that off for the moment because I feel that this particular instance is a bit of an emergency factor. And it's speaking to the nature of a distinct sort of phenomenon that I tend to run into, that spotters in general tend to run into nowadays, especially via internet interactions, which is just this overall hostility and kind of division complex that people have in play, wherein, you see, if you're on people who claim to be or present themselves as being on a spiritual or metaphysical path, the truest path in this is the wayless road, the path of synchronicity, being guided by the world and by, destiny, as it were, to find the right places, the right circumstances, and the right people to aid you along the way, to aid others to generally progress in life in whatever way is necessary. And forming relationships, the relationships that we do form, the relationships we have in our life, that's what truly matters. That's the only thing that truly matters. Everything else is a facade. It's just, it's window dressing for what the real value in the storehouse is, that is our relationships. But many people that we run across, this happens a lot, and this is speaking to a very particular instance, one that I feel is a kind of an instance of high import. I just instinct, intuition is telling me that this is an important factor that happens a lot, but this one I feel strongly about. And it is regarding a young lady. I will not give her full name here because I don't want anybody bothering her. She's kind of in a bad way. I don't want anybody giving her shit. But I will say that her first name is, of course, Sherry. What do you know? It's another problematic Sherry we run into. They seem to be all over the place right now. All right? But she posted something in one of our groups as a third eye opening group or something like that, something about the third eye, and she posted something asking, I guess, generally for guidance or for recommendations and such from people concerning an issue she's having, wherein she feels that her life, I guess, is empty, that there's no value in it, that she's not really feeling inspired by life, and she's lacking that general go, that general inspiration, and the spirit has left, which speaks directly to the videos that Megan and I have been making recently in the past about reconnecting with the spirit. Well, this is going to be addressing one of the primary concerns along those lines, which is the factor that people will, in fact, just as this young lady has, she's a beautiful young lady, by the way, and she seems to be a pretty, she speaks to having gone through certain struggles in the past. She should be pretty well experienced, and again, she's feeling that emptiness, that voidness, that lacking in her life, wherein nothing that presents itself to her seems to be of any true value to her. The meaning is lost. And any of our students, most of our students, and especially those involved with the foundation of the initiative, will recall full well having gone through that before. And most significantly, or most especially for someone who's gone through that struggle, that particular sort of struggle, as extremely and in depth as I have personally. You know, it's an issue that speaks to my heart. But you guys, you know, you guys watching and you guys involved with the initiative, you'll know full well that we've been through this before. And we've gotten a lot of other people through it. You know, most of the students watching will know I've gotten you through it. I've helped get you through it. And you can, you know, you can do it. It's not, the problem is that when people reach this, they've developed terms for it. Some of us, a lot of things, one I hear going around is a dark night of the soul. Anybody who's been through this, any of you guys who's been through this, you'll know full well that it's just a short step from liberation. You know, that's the dweller on the threshold. That's the final wall between you and the truest sense of self. And when people post queries about that and they suggest that sort of thing's happening, they ask for help in that regard, I like to post the chuckle button, you know, the little happy, not happy, but a laughing smiley head. And I'm a spotter. I know full well that that's a gamble. Because depending on the values that are present in a person's system, they're going to react to that either very kindly or very poorly. And of course, that for most people who aren't beyond that point, it's going to be the first impression that lays the groundwork for any relationship. And so, you know, some people will notice it as being people who have been assisted in the past, people especially who have trained under actual mastered spotters and been led by synchronicity in that way, you know, been saved by destiny, as it were. They'll recognize that little laughing head as being, you know, kind of like a wise nod in their direction, you know, a knowing nod that it's okay and that we got you covered. But people who have been scammed and lied to and hurt and cheated and even abused by people throughout their past, they're going to respond to it as they believe that you're laughing at them. I'm not laughing at you, madam, I'm laughing with you, because as I said, all of us who have been through this before know full well that it's just one short step away from liberation, from that heart chakra opening up and you unleashing your truest self and achieving, you know, what comes close to those measures of your true potential. So yeah, it's a gamble, but it's a risk that has to be taken, because if they do react kindly, then you've got them. That develops interest in you and what you're saying, the interest that is required to actually assist these people. But if they react poorly, and they're going to hold that first impression, which, mind you, this is a subjective impression. I wasn't laughing at you, but that's how you took it, and so now you've developed feelings towards me of a negative manner that you're going to be unwilling to let go of, because you're stuck in that stick to your guns mentality, that wannabe adult false maturity mentality, wherein, you know, you seem to hold grudges, essentially. But you misinterpreted the entirety of it right off the bat, and then you took that ball and ran with it as though the whole game was based on it. But what I want to speak to in this video, I'm not going to give the answers to this woman, of course. Spotters do not give people answers. We give people the values that are required for them to find and or create their own answers. And you do have that power within you. You have the power to control your own value system. You have the power to control your reality. You have the power to control yourself. You are the owner of your life. You need to let your owner out. And the negativity, the hostility that you're feeling, that's the virus, the monster inside fighting to survive. And the reason that it's fighting so hard to survive, just like any illness, any ailment that you have, when you attack it, it's going to unleash its desperation attack. You know, it's going to fight as hard as it can, like a cornered animal, to keep itself going, because your mind, your psyche, it believes that this is who you are. It believes that that's a genuine part of your personality that's required for you to survive, and so it panics and starts to fight as hard as it can to keep itself alive, because it's afraid. of it. The virus itself is afraid of dying. The broken program is afraid of dying, of disappearing, and you, your body, your psyche, actually believes that it's a genuine aspect of yourself that is required to be who you are, but it's not. It's not something, in fact, not only do you not need to hold on to it, but you desperately need to let that go. That's the only thing that's holding you back, that baggage. And these filters that you've created in your psyche through which you see reality, the reality that you formed based on your own value system, in what, for example, you see me as subconsciously that viral program is going to see me as being a threat to it, and so you're going to feel as though I'm threatening to you, and B, obviously you're going to feel as though I'm an asshole because you think that I was laughing at you. I wasn't. No. As I stated, we've gone through this many times before. We've been doing this for decades. We've been doing this for a long, long time, and we've been very successful. We've pretty much mastered this process, and we know exactly what's happening, and we know exactly how to get through it. And what you do not want to do is allow for cop-out excuses to come into play, wherein you might have a doctor that's going to tell you you have clinical depression, so here, take these antidepressants, that sort of thing. Or religion's going to jump in and hijack you and say that you're being assaulted by demons and that you need to accept Jesus Christ as your ultimate answer, which Jesus is an operative. Jesus is a cool person, nothing wrong with Jesus, but Jesus is the answer to every question is a statement that doesn't make any sense or is work. It's not practical, it's not effective, it's not real. There's a great deal of illusions in play, particularly the filters through which you're seeing things. And you need to be able to see through those filters. You need to be able to view the actual values in play, see them for what they are, and identify the reality of the scenario, wherein sometimes people do know what they're talking about. Sometimes people do genuinely want to help you without needing any compensation in return. That is, in fact, an unwritten protocol of the initiative of the people we work with to be helpful in any way we can, wherever we can, without accepting compensation for it. That's in an effort to prove that we are in fact genuine and to build a reputation for being helpful. It's self-serving in that manner because we want to build that reputation, but aside from that, there's no scam in play. I'm trying to nudge you in the right direction here. You seem to be on the verge of wanting to kind of give up. More so than a question in the query you raised, it became a statement wherein you're saying that nothing is of any value or meaning and nothing matters, and you feel as though that, of course, you're going to feel as though it's irrefutable and inescapable. You're going to feel as though it's all pervasive. That's because it's fighting as hard as it can to keep you locked down. It doesn't want you to drop it and move forward. It's just as afraid of dying itself, of being eliminated, as your psyche is afraid of losing it, because it feels as though it's a part of who you really are, but it's not. Who you really are is right there, right on the brink of making it, of showing itself, and becoming the truly realized person that you're capable of being. But we run into this all over the place. We run into this hostility, and it's like, if a person asks for help and then I jump in and I give them direction, they'll lash out at me. Some of them will even go ahead and block me immediately, but most of them will lash out at me. They'll try to put me down. They'll try to suggest to me that you couldn't possibly understand my struggles. Believe me, lady, I understand your struggles. Anything that you've gone through in life, I've been through too, and probably worse. I ask anybody that works with us. I've had one of the hardest lives. My story is one of the darkest stories you'll ever hear told. But here I am telling you that there's always not only hope, but inevitable escape. That you can rise above all of it, that you have the power within you to do anything. And that's where, that's what bothers me about this hostility that we run into, is that in the spiritual or metaphysical community, most people are going to say that they believe in unity, they believe in oneness, that we're all connected, they believe in synchronicity and the guidance of destiny. Yet, when synchronicity or destiny guides them to somebody who can be helpful, somebody who is in fact one with them and trying to be a friend to them, family, we are all family already, madam. That's why that's why I kind of put in a happy laughing face. That's why I spoke to you openly to begin with, is because you are family. I consider you to be family even before having met you. And I'm going to be as open and honest and friendly as is possible. And all I can do is give you the proper direction. If you decide to refuse it, see, that's what happens. Synchronicity guides people to the circumstances that they require in order to progress, and when they see it, they reject it. It's like you say that you believe in destiny, in the guidance of the world. You say that you believe in the God concept and the unity of all things, yet you reject it left and right. It's the same kind of an ideology as where it comes to the teachings of Jesus himself with the Christians, where the Christians say that they believe fully in the teachings of Jesus Christ, yet if I tell a Christian that you are one with God, that we are all together, that I and the Father am one, and you are the same, that we are all one with God, they're going to tell me that's blasphemy and completely contradict the teachings of Jesus right then and there. And then they're going to go ahead and break all the rules that Christianity presents in their very worship of it. It's the same thing here with spirituality, with metaphysics, where people claim to believe in this unity of consciousness, this overall God concept, and say that they believe in the guidance of destiny and synchronicity, yet when it guides them to an answer that they don't like, they reject it. And of course, when I tell you that the answer is, you're not going to find the answers you need in some book. You're not going to find the answers that you need in some spiritual traditions. Those are all just primers. That's all just values that will allow for you to get to the path you need to be on, but it's only the path that's going to give you the answer you need. The solution to your problem is within you already. You just need to unlock it. And what is required to unlock that is the proper combination of values in your system, which is what I'm trying to do for you, is give you those values. I'm trying to pass on the values that I have present in my system in that regard, because the values in my system have already unlocked that solution for me and for many other people. I know what I'm doing. I've known what I'm doing for a long, long time. Lady, please, you gotta have a little trust in somebody. You can't just dismiss anybody that you, for whatever reason, you don't like them or you don't like the answer they give you. It's usually the answers you don't like that are the correct ones. Why? Because they're threatening the system that you currently have in play, and it's obvious that system isn't working. That's the system you want to change. So if answers contradict the values present in that system, they're probably right. It's just common sense. Now, when you tell somebody that the answer, the solution of even this particular problem, to the problem of managing the emotions and reconnecting with your spiritual aspect, is in fact as simple as decision itself, just making the decision, and as simple as understanding, realizing that you have that decision to make, that you own the responsibility for your life, the responsibility, that you have a responsibility to yourself, an ability to respond, that you own your life, that it belongs to you. Nobody else can force you to be who you are. You are who you are, depending on who you choose to be. And that choice belongs to you. It's open to you. You are free to make it at any moment. All you have to do is retrain yourself. Be excellent. The next chance that you get, no matter what your psyche or the values or the circumstances tell you to be, stop. say to yourself, I'm not going to be negative, I'm going to be positive, I'm going to do what I can to make the very best of this. Just do that. Just try it once, try it twice, try it a few times, and then keep on trying it. And believe me, you're going to start to feel better about things. You're going to start to feel better about yourself. Ultimately, all that you need to do is empower yourself by making that decision. Even if it doesn't feel right or it doesn't feel great to begin with, it's not going to feel right. It's not going to feel great because you're going against the habits you already have in play, the subroutines, the programs that are present in your system. You're going against the grain, fighting against the monster that's trying to hold you down, trying to destroy you. It wants you to give up, this monster, this virus. It's been programmed into you by society in every which way that you can think of for so long now. And you're so used to it, so conditioned to believe in it, that you find it exceptionally difficult, if not impossible, to believe anything else. But you need to. That's what you need to do. You need to change your mind. Take out the trash and reconstruct your mind in the fashion that you would like for it to be. It belongs to you. Your life belongs to you. Take control of it. And when you take those reins, you're going to feel that empowerment, and it's going to light you up. It's going to activate that Kundalini impulse. It's going to open up your chakras, and it's going to free you. It's going to liberate you. So, for everybody that does do that or intends on doing that, if you run into somebody online or wherever on the street, somebody that presents an answer for you, consider it. Don't reject them. Don't dismiss them outright, most especially if they contradict what you think you believe in or what you think you know. You don't know anything. None of us do. We are aware of methods and measures that work. We're aware of how functionalities operate in the system, but nobody really knows anything, and we are far from it. And if somebody tries to trick you into believing that you have clinical depression or that you have, uncurable, incurable PTSD or whatever it is, whatever excuse, diagnosis they give you, if somebody tries to trick you into believing that you're in some way delusional about it, don't let that happen. You gotta understand that these people are salesmen. They're trying to sell you something because they believe that currency, that money, is the most important thing in the world. Why? Because money allows for them to care for their relationships, because they know, we all know at some level, that the relationships we have are all that matters. And when you have the opportunity to form a new relationship with somebody, especially somebody that challenges you, take it. That's a blessing. So, I don't know, I'm not sure there's anything else I can really say to this young lady, Sherry, but to everybody, that the next time you feel that way, that you want to reject somebody you come across, don't do that. Stop doing that. That's dividing. We're trying to fight division. We're trying to end division. We're trying to bring our people together. And every time that somebody steps up and says, hey, I can help you out, and you slap their hand and tell them to fuck off, this is common sense. Why would you do that? I don't know. Yeah, that's really all I can say at this point about that. I'm going to have to go ahead with the Magics video at another time. Maybe after this, but at another time. Anyways, that's going to be the first in a series of hostility videos. Thank you all very much for watching. Kila Salai, Terve Uni Siari. Namaste. I recognize deity in you, because it is present, because that's what you are. The power of heaven is yours. It is your sacred heritage. Make use of it, madam. Namaste.